Hey guys, it's Coach Bricks, Coach James, the Game Changers. I want to talk about something that I coined probably 20 some years ago. And it probably wasn't even me that coined it, but I know a lot of people really weren't talking about it to this extent. And so I started saying it probably back in, I want to say back in '07, somewhere around '06, and almost 20 years now. And that's softness. I say it a lot, and I know a lot of people get tired of hearing me say it, but I always tell them then change, so I don't have to say it. I mean, it's a simple process. We have become soft as a society, okay? Whether you like it or not. I know a lot of people want to start turning it off right now, stopping the video, because they don't want to hear what the truth is. And I even tell people right now, I'm soft. James is soft. I call everybody soft, okay? Now, there's levels of softness. There's some people that are extremely soft, and there's other levels of softness, but there are times that I act soft. I mean, there was once or twice, I think, this winter, I didn't get up here at the time I wanted to at 4 o'clock. You know, it was 4:30 because it was hard for me to get out. It was cold, hard. I finally drug myself up here by 4:30. I was soft. I allowed softness to take over my body, okay? And I know people think, well, it's just, it's a little bit off. It doesn't matter. Once you allow softness to creep in, then it starts to spread, okay? And that's just how it works. It just spreads, and then it does damage to the body. Being comfortable is what causes the softness, okay? That's why I always tell athletes, and we talk about it all the time, you gotta stay uncomfortable, okay? This goes for adults too. I know you wanna live in a house that's perfectly this, and the weather's always 70 degrees outside and sunny. The only place I know that, I don't even know if there is a place like that, maybe Hawaii, maybe San Diego, comes close, and that's your take, then you gotta move there, okay? If not, you gotta deal with what you have, and you can't be soft about it. We have allowed softness to creep in, and that's why you have more diseases than ever before, okay? We have more sickness than ever before. We have more injuries than ever before. These are all accumulating up because of what we have done to our bodies. Our bodies aren't meant for this, okay? Our bodies were meant as hunters and gatherers. I keep telling this over and over, and that's why we started the Earth Strong program. We are hunters and gatherers. We are supposed to be active. We're supposed to be moving. We're supposed to do these things, not sitting for 8-9 hours a day. I talk about it with kids at school. I think school is the worst thing for them. Yeah, I'm saying it, parents, I am going to tell you. 6-7 hours of sitting? Are you freaking kidding me? We destroy the human body. We are destroying it. People don't realize it, but that's what we're destroying. Now, you can go back in the 60s and say they did and they weren't like that. I agree, but as soon as they got home, they were out playing, free play. The kids don't do that anymore because of the iPhones and tablets and all that other kind of stuff. So we got to change something. We got to change it fast. But we're not going to do it if we continue to allow all the excuses that we give ourselves and people give us to fly. And parents will be the first one when I say, hey, well, you don't understand, Dave. My dad said that I don't care. It's still soft, okay? And you got to accept that as soft. Once you realize softness, okay, that you're soft, then you can fix the problem. It was like me, back in 2007. I started to get soft, and I started to see it, and I was like, wait a second here. Why am I allowing society to dictate who I am and how I should act? I don't want to be like society. I don't. I want to go against society. I want to go back and start looking at things differently. And really, when it really took off was about 6 years ago, and everything started to change for me, and I really started to dive deeper into it with different types of training and how soft we really are. And that's a problem because what happens is the body breaks down, and when the body starts to break down, that's when the problems all occur, whether it's mentally, spiritually, or physically. They're all going to happen, and this spiritual softness, this mental softness, and this physical softness is just accumulating, and it's destroying us. It's why you see so many more suicides. You see so much more anxiety. You see so much more depression. These things were never on. Yes, I do believe a lot of it has to do with the chemicals that are put in our food, the chemicals that are sprayed on it. All this kind of stuff is definitely helping lead to it, but it's also because we're not challenging ourselves. We need to constantly challenge ourselves. I'm in a study right now working on autism and dementia, and it's fascinating to me to see why these things occur, okay? And a lot of it has to occur, yes, I think there's a bunch of different reasons, but one of them is we don't challenge ourselves as we get older. The majority of people in the United States want to get to age 62, 65, whatever, and retire. And that's it, okay? Especially if you work in the government, you just want to work and you want to be done, okay? You want that pension that you got, and you want to be good. The problem is you're not challenging yourselves after that. That's why most people decline so quickly after they retire, because their challenge and their purpose lied what they did before. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Okay? You got to keep challenging the mind, the spiritual aspect all the time until the day you die, so you can live a healthy and productive life, not only for yourself, but for your kids, your family, the community, whatever it is. And so it's it's a big thing you see. James, you've been with me for almost 2.5 years. What have you seen in the 2.5 years?
I think the thing that I've seen is I know specifically with our Earth Strong workouts, and what we do all the time is we call people out all the time. Whether they don't show up for a workout in the morning, when they say hey, I'll be there. They'll tell you specifically, hey Dave, I'll be there 5 o'clock in the morning. And you turn around and you're like, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you check your phone and it's like, oh, I can't make it in. Something came up. And you're like, no, nothing really came up. It's just you had something that you could make up, that you made an excuse as to why you couldn't make it in to tell us. And it just becomes a revolving door with a lot of it, where you give an excuse as to why you can't show up, why you couldn't do something. And I know we'll probably talk about this in another topic. It's just the excuses as why you couldn't do something, why something didn't go the way you wanted. Whether it's an exercise or it's, again, like I say, showing up to a workout. We call people out all the time that have been doing our strong workout. It's like, hey, we expect to see you here Saturday morning, 6 o'clock. I have this going on later in the day. I have this training later in the day, so I can't make it in. Well, why can't you make it in? Well, I have this. Other people have other things that they have commitments.
Yep.
They still show up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And it just becomes that revolving door again, that they just make the excuses, and no one really accepts that, there's no repercussions for it. That they had something else going on, I guess. Where we constantly hold people accountable, and that's where people don't hold other people accountable anymore. Where I know probably back when 60s, 70s, that people were held accountable to, hey, you said you were going to be here, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas today, I had this come up, someone texted me last night, I was up late is the one that we get all the time. That I didn't go to bed till like 11 o'clock, midnight, so I can't wake up at 5 o'clock to get to a workout at 6 a.m.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're bringing that up now because there's a kid who's playing in season, right? And it's funny because he's in season and he didn't come in the all season early morning, but now all of a sudden in season, because he knows he can't get in the afternoon because of practice, he's here. And he comes in, are there days he looks a little tired? Yeah, but in the same respect, he's in it. And I talked to him, I said, listen, you got to change when you go to bed. I said, if you're going to come in here, I said, you need to put the phone down. And that's a problem because kids can't put their phone down, adults can't put their phone down either. But the people can't put their phone down, so they're up later, all right? Even if they're not up later, their melatonin is not kicking in. I can go into a whole topic of this and sleep and all this kind of stuff. Maybe I'll do that at some point. But that is a problem because they're not getting into the deep sleep. So they're not getting into deep sleep, so guess what happens? They're tired. And we're more tired than ever before. Not because we don't have time. That's the misnomer. We should have more time because everything is much more convenient, let's be honest. Everything's at the fingertips. I remember back in the day when I had to go to a library to look information up. Now you're just talking to your phone and the phone gives you the information. So don't tell me you don't have time. You just don't know how to manage the time. Okay, and that's something that we gotta do. But that's softness. You're giving yourself outs all the time. That's all people wanna do is they wanna give themselves an out. Or the best thing I like is maybe. Or I'll try. What does that mean? Maybe or I'll try. No, you just do it or don't. Now listen, you're gonna fail a lot of times. Okay, like I've done. I've failed more times than I've ever succeeded in life. But from all those failures, have my greatest successes come right after all those failures. Okay? That's what nobody wants to tell you because nobody in life wants to let you fail. I want you to fail. I want you to go in, figure out what's wrong, then let's go fix it. Just like I talk about when a person comes in injured, I find the root cause. I don't just give you a pill so you can get through it or just give you the easy remedy to get out. No, I want to figure out what's wrong so we don't ever have this problem again. You can go on and live a better life. It's the same thing. Let people fail in life so they can understand and then teach them how to get out of that. And that's what not softness is being. I don't want people to be soft. I'm just tired of looking at it and I'm tired of having to deal with it with people telling me, well, I'll get you that information. They don't give deadlines because they don't want to be held accountable, like Coach James said. And when the deadline does come, a lot of people just skip over it because it's a me society. That's what softness is. It's a me society. I only think about myself. It's not about myself. It's about your community, about serving others. Okay? The Lord Jesus served everyone. Okay? That's the greatest thing about it. One of the greatest stories that he had is that he served people. Okay? That's what we're supposed to do. But we can't do that if we only think of ourselves and we're soft. It just doesn't happen. Okay, so we need to overcome that. That's one of the biggest things. And like I said, I can go on this topic probably for weeks. And I'm not even kidding, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I can go on for this for weeks. Not a hard topic for me. Like I said, I've been talking about it for 20 plus years and seeing the decline, and it's just continue rapidly until we actually get to a point where we're gonna shift it back. And we gotta start working on it. Parents, it's on us to start telling our kids, no, you're not having the phone. No, you are going to bed at this time. No, you're gonna do this. No, you are gonna get up early. I will take you, you're gonna get here. You know, it's just simple. If you mess up, be held accountable. Apologize and then go fix it. Don't try to make an excuse about this and that. That's softness. Hold yourself accountable and just fix it. It's simple. Everybody messes up. Like I said, if some kid came into me, hey Dave or Coach, I am sorry that I didn't get up at 5 when I told you to. I'd be like, okay, why? And they can give me all excuses. I'm like, hey, but at least you're starting to learn, because you know what? You're starting to hold yourself accountable, which is key. The worst is when I see that kid the next day and they don't say a word. And then I'll have to call them out. And they're like, whoa, no, just own it and then go fix it. That's all you gotta do, simple. All right? Guys, this is Coach Bricks,
Coach James.
the Game Changers.